Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And I was almost laughing doing this opening because I think about it, and I think we mentioned this before, but Mike and I get on here and rarely, 5-10% of the time, we'll have something to talk about that we probably could talk about on here, but it's nobody's fucking business. So we talk about things, prior to, but
yeah. So that means 95% of our lives we pretty much share on here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, we are kind of an open book. So, but there's that, 10% that we do this, I don't know what pre-show shit, whatever, like I was just saying, but what made me laugh about it is just that I know I listen to all these podcasts and so many times people are like, oh yeah, before we started recording and this and that. And quite honestly, there's been, I mean, how many times have we started talking about something? We're like, okay, shut up. Let's just start recording.
Oh yeah.
This is too.
Exactly, man. Yeah. We we'll start saying something because we try to do a little pre-show or something. Like, wait a minute. No. This is the podcast. Just fucking start recording.
Yeah. This isn't a secret. And actually, maybe some of the shit we're talking about some people might, at least we will, find amusing. So,
right. Which is the litmus test. Right. Do we find it amusing? All right. Then we'll put it on the fucking interwebs.
Yeah, then let everyone else make their fucking choices, right? So
absolutely.
The one thing I did say was I said, same day, different stuff or whatever, and you're like, yeah. Okay, so how was your week? I guess let's start off there. Was it a week? You don't have to go into detail if you don't want to, but that made me think maybe you had kind of a week, huh?
It's been a month. It's okay. Right. The Green Day song keeps running through my head. Wake me up when September ends. No, just busy. It's home group anniversary month, so I'm chairing this month. We've got the Keating Center fundraiser tomorrow. Started off the month in Chicago. I mean, it's all good shit. It's just, God damn it, man. I just want to lay down and do nothing for a while. But I did enough of that. So well, yeah, it's previous life.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, we I don't know. We always joke about the fact that what are we gonna, what will we do when we get sober,
right?
And all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like, fuck, I'm tired, or I don't want to get up early. And I sometimes get up, early when I'm traveling around because I want to go do shit,
right?
And I can't remember the last time that the latest I'll sleep in is like 8 o'clock, and that's when I'm around here because I really don't have any specific places to go, type of thing. I mean, when I'm in Indiana, like I am now, but it kind of led me to another thing, and I made a note about this because I was thinking that, okay, so, the whole week thing, and I never thought that I would use this once in a calendar year, let alone twice in a couple of months. Mm-hmm. But so Mike, as far as you know, was anyone laying in wait in the bushes possibly this week, possibly attempting to assassinate you?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I was thinking too, I didn't go anywhere this week. I mean, I went up to get pizza. I suppose I go to the same place, every week. So I suppose, but, again, not trying to make a complete joke out of it. It's just this world that I was like, when I heard about it, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Again?
Again.
But just real quick, and I'm only going to say one thing about these fucking candidates. Okay, so whenever the debate was on, whatever that was, week or so, week and a half, whatever it was, I don't know what day it was.
Tuesday, I believe. But go
What
ahead.
was it this week?
No, last a week ago, Tuesday.
Oh, was it? Okay, I was like, shit, it could have been 3 days ago for all I know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Time
right.
flies. But I was watching something, and I've got my Chromecast is like the Google TV, so it's like a smart TV. So I pop out of whatever I'm watching, and of course I knew the debate was on, but didn't think about it. And I'm like, oh well, let's just pop in to see what these fucking nimrods are doing, So I don't think I watched it for more than, I was going to say 4 minutes, maybe 6 or 7 minutes. Okay, probably
Right.
just enough to see. I was going to say each one of them answer a question, but I'll put it another way: have each one of them have a question posed to each one of them, and then have the back and forth. And I don't know what they think the word debate means, but that's not what happens on whatever this thing is. It's not a debate. It's a matter of two people running for a public office that are there to tell you what the other person is doing wrong, or what the other person doesn't do. I've done a little bit of research. I mean, we've seen the show with the one dude. We already saw that, so we know what he's about. We've seen a little bit about the other one, obviously, because she's been around in this whole thing. But so I've done a little bit of research, blah blah. But quite honestly, I don't know what either one of them stand for. I know what the other ones don't stand for.
Themselves. They stand for themselves.
And you know what? You said it, I think, last week when we were on with Dr. Sarah, that, Trump's a buffoon and that sort of thing. And I agree, and that she's no better. I mean, she's just,
they're both idiots. All politicians are morons. Otherwise they'd have real jobs.
I know, it blows my mind. And I'm like, there's no, that when Hillary and Trump were running back in 16, I think, when the two of them ran. And they had that meme where this kid was about to put a knife or a fork into a socket. And the meme was, choose your candidate, whether it's the top socket or the bottom socket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're there again. We're there again.
Oh, yeah.
So
we've been there for a long time.
I know. But anyhow, it cracked me up. I seriously, I thought to myself, I'm like, I've never sat down to watch, again, I'm going to use huge air quotes, one of the debates. And I know what a debate's supposed to be, and I know what the definition is roughly, and that's not what I saw. I'm just saying.
No. Yeah, there was a baseball game on that night, and I flipped over a couple of times. I did get to see the dogs and cats live. That was kind of cool.
You know what? And I must have just missed it because I turned it off, and then I was on either Instagram or Facebook shortly after that. I start seeing all these dogs and cats things literally within like 10 or 15 minutes of the time. I must have just missed it. So then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, okay. And I've seen those. Some dude did the whole Trump thing and then did like music behind it, almost like a rock opera type of thing. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
so.
There's a good one. I like the Simpsons one too.
I haven't seen that one. I'll have to look that one
the
up.
whorehouse, down in Springfield, and they cut it in, and it's quite nice.
I don't know. It just, again, we're obviously we don't talk about politics. We're doing it more just to make fun. But it just, I don't know. It's the the human experience is it's crazy. It's crazy. But so anyhow, I know we've got a lot to talk about. First of all, I want to hear. We could do it after the reading. But you went to a concert last night.
I did.
I got a quick story about when I left my last night in North Carolina. A couple other things. We got a buddy of ours that we want to talk about, I think, and some other stuff. But you know what? We're 7.5 minutes into this fucking thing already.
Good.
Now I'm sorry about that. Everyone that just listened to 7 minutes of us talking about politics, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologize too.
Yeah, I will. I don't think either one of us will ever apologize, except for that. We apologize for that. That was uncalled for. So.
I know I didn't call for it.
Yeah, I know, and I started it, so I'm upset with myself. Man, there, I just spanked myself. Sorry about that. Okay,
he flogged himself live on the air. There you go, folks. There's entertainment.
All right, so let's get back to whatever our normal structure is. I think we do a reading at some point, right?
We do. Let's do a reading. So this is actually from Keep It Simple, and it's from today because I thought it was a pretty good one. It's a simple one, but I thought it would be good to share. So here we go. September 20th. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer someone else up. Some guy named Mark Twain. I think he wrote a few things. Sometimes it does no good to try to deal with our feelings. I want to read that again. Sometimes it does no good to try to deal with our feelings. For the moment, we're stuck. We can only see things one way. No matter what anyone says, we're closed up for the moment, but this puts our sobriety at risk. How do we stop self-pity? Focus on someone else. When we really want to help someone else be happy, we'll ask our higher powers help. Then things will start to change because our good deeds come back to us. Remember, service will always keep us sober. Prayer for the day, higher power. Sometimes I get stuck in my old ways or my own ways, same thing. Help me change my focus at those times. Help me stay sober. Action for the day. I will think of a time when I was stuck in bad feelings. How did I get out of that spot?
You know what? I obviously read that one. That might have been the reading I posted this morning
I
because
think it was. I think I glanced at it at one point today and saw it, and I went, I don't care. I'm reading it anyway.
no, and I was going to say I'm glad that you picked that one because like you said, it's I mean, we could joke around, oh, keep it simple. It was simple, but no,
Mm-hmm.
it really was. It's simple, it's short, it's to the point,
Mm-hmm.
but hugely important. It's I mean, something that we talk about on a fairly regular basis, if not
Right.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take, as I always like to do, take that last thing first.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember? I mean, because the last one said what, stuck in your feelings and what you did to get out of it, or stuck
Right.
in
Right.
something.
Stuck
How
in
you?
whatever, bad mood, whatever the fuck it was. I already put the book down. God damn
That's
it.
okay.
There.
That's
No, it's
okay.
right
No, you're
here.
good.
It's right here. I will think of a time when I was stuck in bad feelings.
Bad feelings. Okay.
Right.
So with that, can you think of a? I mean,
A
whether it was
specific
recent
time.
or yeah, or
Right.
just what you do or what you would do in a situation like that.
I mean, that, as it said, pretty much the whole gist of the reading is, stop focusing on yourself and focus on someone else in a positive way. I mean, it's real easy to focus on other people when you're in that bad mood and, what an asshole. I'll focus on his assholeness instead of my own. Right. That's, again, old stuff. Yeah, lots of times. And trust me, not 100%, not by a long shot. But it does work 100% of the time. I just don't do it 100% of the time. But yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, you want to get yourself out of a shit mood, help somebody else. It's the quickest and easiest, and like I said, 100% successful. It works every fucking time. Even if, I'm again, I can't even think of a time when, you tried and the other person didn't want your help or whatever, something off. Yeah. I mean, that just doesn't happen. I'm in a shit mood. I'm going to focus on making someone else's life better. And there's that AA math. And then my fucking life gets better. Wow. Um, to this day, don't understand it, don't know how it works, doesn't fucking matter. I take the action and do it, and it works every time.
Yeah, and there are, I mean, there are times when, because again, most of the time, you're alone. I spend a lot of time by myself,
Yep.
so there may not be a. Let's say it happens. I mean, it's 8 o'clock at night, and you're on your
Mm,
own and whatever, and you're in
right.
a mood, and I
Mm,
mean, if nothing else, you can, we can do something, productive. We can read, we could sit, we could just sit there
mm-hmm.
and, if nothing else, I mean, watch mindless TV. Help.
Right.
You're taking the main point is taking that focus off of whatever this
Mm,
we don't want to dwell. We don't want to wallow. We've talked about all those sort of things. And, a lot of times too is that, I haven't done a lot of writing lately, but,
mm-hmm.
if I've been in a mood sometimes, sometimes doing something like that, working on something,
Right.
and whether it be anything like that, it might be something with a podcast. It could be something I'm writing, or like I said, I mean, a lot of times I just turn something on, get my mind
Mm-hmm.
away. I'm focusing on, some mindless TV show or some stupid movie I've seen 100
Mm-hmm.
times. And it gets me out of my own head. Cause I know that worst case scenario, I don't want to sit and do nothing
Mm.
because then I'm just gonna fucking wallow,
Right. Yeah. Right. Focusing on yourself is the worst thing we can do. Right, which makes no sense because right, we're supposed to be working on ourselves and supposed to be whatever But I mean, a big part for me of working on myself, making myself a better person, again, is stop focusing on myself, trying to make things better for other people. That's the whole point of all of this shit.
Yeah, and I've been very open on here, and I don't know why it happens. I have, and I don't know if you want. Well, I suppose you could, even if they're mild. I have mood swings, for
Hmm.
certain times, and I'm like, why am I in such a fucking good mood? And then
Right.
then I get in this weird mood. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I was happy as shit a minute ago, and then I get these these hills and these valleys. But
Hmm.
the thing that we had talked about, I don't know, shit, maybe a month ago, a few weeks ago at least, is that I had the revelation or I'm convinced of the fact that, being in a shitty mood is I mean, that's my base point.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
being a worthless fucking drunken alcoholic
Hmm.
or active alcoholic is
Right.
is our baseline. So
Hmm.
I I'm not working on something right or not doing something right if I have those dips. So
Right.
I realize that I guess that's the main point. But good deeds coming back was the other thing I wrote down. Obviously, focusing on the others we talked about.
Hmm.
Um, puts our sobriety at risk. I'm
Oh
like, what
yeah.
the fuck did I just write down? I seriously, I can barely read my handwriting sometimes. It's ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, all this stuff, the angry, lonely, tired stuff, angry,
Right.
lonely, hungry, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Halt.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't remember that little acronym. But really any of those things. But the same thing is that I think that even though maybe from the outside, somebody that doesn't have a problem, or maybe not everyone has the type of feelings that we do. People are sober, whatever, don't have
Hmm.
these ups and downs, highs and lows. Fine,
Hmm.
cool. But you don't think about the fact that again, it's these little things. I'm 100% convinced in the time that we've been sober, the shit that's hit really hard, like the big things. When obviously
Hmm.
most recent when mom died, then we
Right.
talk about when Uncle John died, when Larry
Hmm.
died.
Hmm.
Oh, we've got one to talk about coming up, but
Hmm.
these friends and these people close to us, these big things. I'm not saying that they're easy to deal with, but they're so glaring and so out in the open that you realize. I think that it's just human nature. Like, okay, I got to be on guard, but
Hmm.
it's these little fucking things that'll get us, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The little, right. Somebody cutting you off in traffic, somebody,
Right.
whatever. Yeah. That comes to mind. But yes, yeah, it's the little shit. It's going to be, again, I think, I mean, well, the big book says, the root of our troubles is selfishness and self-centeredness. I think the root of every problem in the world, certainly in my world, is unhealthy focus on self. I
Right.
mean, that's, I think, everyone's problem, whether you're an alcoholic or a drug addict or a normal person or whatever the fuck you are. Yeah, I mean, you spend too much time focusing on yourself. Again, sounds counterintuitive because, we're supposed to be working on ourselves and blah, 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 and setting boundaries for ourselves and all that. And that's all great. But an unhealthy focus on oneself makes your life fucking miserable. Because, I mean, quite frankly, we're not all that important. We're not supposed to be spending our time focusing on ourselves all the time. We're here to help the next person along. We're a community. We're social animals. That's what we are. And yeah, you spend all your time just focused on yourself, and it's an awful life.
Right. Well, and the other thing too is that, and it just made me think about it when you were talking about that. If I am going to focus on myself,
Hmm.
um, and I'm not a inherently I'm not a negative person. I am a positive person, but when I just thought about that, if I was just going to sit down and focus on myself, I
Hmm.
won't say never, but it's usually about things that I want to fix.
Right.
Because if things are going well, we don't. It's just kind of again human nature. We kind of go with the
Hmm.
flow, but if I just sat there in front, like in front of a mirror, okay,
Hmm.
and look
Hmm.
at myself, and I mean, I don't care that somebody posted on Instagram earlier today, and it's one of our female followers, and I don't know how old
Hmm.
she is. She might be in her 40s, I'm guessing. Looks wonderful. She's very open about all these different things. Married, I think she's got kids and all. Got a good thing going on. But
Right.
she had posted this thing and posted something about. She's like, something about I enjoy getting old, and the wrinkles and the memories and all this different things. And what I commented was, I'm like, getting older is a gift,
Right.
and that's the first thing I thought about, because when you think about it, like you and I, just if you take the two of us, neither one of us should have made it in a minimum past our mid 40s, right?
No, no.
I mean, let alone, that you're you're pushing 60.
Yes, I
I
am.
mean, I'm going to be 56 on fucking Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm cross that middle now. But I was hanging around this middle for a year, and I was cool with it. I said, no, I don't give a fuck, because physically, I feel better, or at least in a minimum, I don't feel any worse than I did a year ago. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if nothing else, I don't feel any worse. Okay,
Right.
and the things that if I take a look at it, that's just physically, that's the age thing. But if I really look back to my point, if I sat in the mirror and I'm like, okay, so I got a wrinkle here, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't have full graying hair. I don't care when I do or if I do or whatever. But
Right.
for whatever reason, my hair's not graying. I don't know what the deal is, but it isn't. But I'm like, I could probably get in a little better shape. I wish my fucking knees didn't hurt all the time. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm out walking around, but there's a limit, because I can't, even if it's straight and not climbing on shit, I can only walk so long before my knees are fucking killing me.
mm-hmm.
So I can look at all these different things and like, okay, so I wish I didn't have to, like chill out for a month here. It has nothing to do with being here or
Mm-hmm.
Kathy or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Right.
Love our sister and I love being here, but
Yep.
so I'd love to have a little bit more money that I can take a look at. Well, my
Mm-hmm.
job and this and that. All it's going to do is put me in this fucking whirlwind of bullshit.
Yep.
You know, when really what it comes down to, and what I really have been trying to do is, okay, accept the fact that I this is exactly what I planned, and I need to remind myself of that. And I
Mm-hmm.
need to look at myself in the mirror and say, "You dumb motherfucker! Here was your plan.
Right.
You wanted to make enough money to go out and do the things you want to do, and I talked to you before I did this. I talked to Kimmy
Mm-hmm.
and Derek, and obviously Kimmy, Brian, and Derek. I talked to Kathy, and I said, "Here's what I want to do. First of all, am I crazy? Got all your input. Nobody said I
Right.
was completely fucking nuts.
Right.
But on top of that, I'm like, I will need time. I'm sure, either take a break, come see you guys, hang out, whatever, because I want to do
Mm-hmm.
that. But if nothing else, maybe I need to just like not spend money.
Right.
So I got to remind myself that this was my plan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really easy for me to get into, if I'm going to focus on myself, it's going to be all fucking negative, and I got to remind myself that don't focus, like you said. And if I
Mm-hmm.
do, I've got to go back to that, where I forget to be grateful. I need to be grateful.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's the exercise that we have to take. If there isn't, like you said, anybody around to help, which happens, 8 o'clock at night, whatever, blah 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 blah. Then we
Right.
need to spin that focus around, because yes, it is me too. Same thing. My focus will go to the negative stuff. It just does. This problem and that problem. No, I got to fucking not focus on that shit and focus on what I have, not what I don't have.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, it's hard, because and everyone has to deal with it. I mean, we can, I don't like to, once again, like we were talking with Dr. Sarah, and we've said it, for months now, if not years on here also, and years outside of it, is just, I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to blame society. I want to blame that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, but look at what all these fucking people have. Look at what
Mm.
social media is doing to me. Oh, everyone out there is targeting me. Fuck that. Nobody's targeting me. Nobody's
Nope.
triggering me. If
Mm-mm.
I go on social media and I see supposedly somebody living this wonderful and beautiful life,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel worse about myself because of that, well, fuck me then.
Yeah.
That's my problem, not theirs. I'd
Mm-hmm.
rather get on social media and take a look at, especially because Instagram, I've got this whole, I don't know how many people are not sober that I follow or follow us,
Right.
but 80% probably are
Mm-hmm.
sober people. And I
Sure.
see these people out there, first of all, and literally, and I don't mean this from a piggish way, but the beautiful people out there, you look at these before and after pictures, there's some good looking
Mm.
sober people out there, men and women. And
Right.
you see some of their before and after pictures, and you're like, holy shit, good for you. And then on top of it, you see them hanging with their kids and with their families,
Right.
playing whatever the thing is. That's a wonderful, motivating thing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I need to do on social media, not look at somebody and be like, whoa, look what they have.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I always have to remind myself when I see stuff like that, well, they probably have a hell of a lot more debt than I do. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, they got all this crap, but do they actually have it? Or do they just owe a whole bunch of money on it?
Right. Yeah, and that is. I mean, I think about when Dawn and I were together. I mean, the two of us, made we made both about the same amount of money, and in
Mm-hmm.
at that time, and it was a decent amount of money, and we had a
Sure.
house, we had this and that, and all it was, I don't remember who said it. I think a brother might have said something to us at one point, like, "My God, you guys, all these things you have." I'm like, "You should see
Mm-hmm.
our fucking bills."
Right.
I
Exactly.
said, the mortgage and the insurance and 2 car payments and this and that. And,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even when I sit down and look at my own bills, and I don't have a lot of things, but I mean,
Right.
granted, spending money, do these different things. I got some charged over here, all that shit, none of this shit matters, but I still have monthly expenses.
Uh-huh.
And again, all this shit costs money.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's doing bigger things, they have bigger bills, or,
Yep.
somehow, some way they got a lot of fucking money, and they're, whatever. Good
Mm-hmm.
for you.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But no, I mean that the reading in general. I mean, I don't know. I just again, like you said, simple and to the point. And
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing there is, I mean, yeah, not focusing, but also, and it's still it's stupid for me to even say it out loud when I do all the time. But the fact that I have to remember to be grateful is
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous in my
Right.
mind.
Of course it
You
is.
know, but
Right.
but
But we have to do it. Yeah, I do too.
I know
Yes.
it's
I have to force myself to be grateful. Fucked up.
yeah, it really
but
is.
but when I do, when I again take that action and force myself to look around and look at the things I have, not what I don't have, yeah, my life gets better. I have a better attitude, I have a better outlook because I'm focusing on the positive. Yeah, it seems stupid to have to say it out loud, but apparently we have to say it out loud to ourselves pretty much on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah. And it's I don't think about it when I'm doing it, but when we're talking about it on here, it's just like, God, I mean, same thing. You're whatever your normal person is. Let's not even say normal. You're
Mm,
non-alcoholic,
hmm.
sober, non-programmed person.
Right.
Just out there. There's people out there, I think, that are genuinely happy probably most of the time,
Mm,
and don't have to work that hard to do it.
right.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there, but then again, I have to also believe and know for a fact that there's
Mm.
people out there. Life fucking happens to
Oh
everyone.
yeah. I mean, right, yeah. There's normies out there that are fucking miserable.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yep. And again, that's the gratitude.
Right.
I'll do this little bit of stuff so I'm not a miserable motherfucker. Thank you.
Well, and that's the flip side, and what we talked about plenty of times of knowing that we had to go through everything that we did, and
Hmm.
it had to happen in whatever time it had to happen in. Um, for both of us in our early 40s rather than our mid 20s,
Hmm.
and what again, all that differences and in timing and blah blah blah. And it's crazy to have to think back and realize that everything that we went through, and you say it all the time, has worth,
Hmm. Yep.
and again, given the fact that what a gift to have to go through all that fucking bullshit, but then given this, and it said, this program of living that we have,
Hmm.
and realizing that, okay, I don't know, we're different people, not just because we're sober, but because we were taught these things.
Hmm.
Taking away the booze doesn't fix everything, we know
Oh
that.
no.
Yeah.
It fixes very little. Fixes a
Exactly.
couple of things, but not much.
Yeah, it just lets things smolder for a little bit until you get to
Hmm.
work on the real. You still they got smoke in there. You may not have a blazing inferno of a fire, but you still got
Right.
you still got problems there. You got to fucking deal with, or you're going to be a mess. So
Yep.
I don't know. Like I said, gratitude. That's one of my biggest takeaways. I can't focus on myself. I know that, but
Hmm.
yeah, I got to be fucking grateful.
Hmm.
Oh, speaking of fucks, because I looked when I was doing the transcript. So
Uh-huh.
first of all, Dr. Sarah's episode, I got two things to say about that. The number of fucks in it, we'll get that in a minute, and then we got a comment also from one of our followers, and a
Cool.
listener, of course. But in Dr. Sarah's episode, I mean, that was wonderful. I
Hmm.
think it played well. I mean, I listened to it, it played well, and
Yeah.
gotten some nice comments from a couple of different people, but one in
Yeah.
particular that I'll read. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun, but I didn't think about it. I know she said fuck a couple of times, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But so I number of fucks. What do you think with a Dr. Sarah episode?
Right. It's certainly less than normal, I would think.
Yes.
Yes, right. Let's go. Well, hell, let's just put it out there. 69.
You know what? As much of a joke as that might be, you're not far off. It was 58. It was 58.
There you go. Yeah. I went over, Bob. Sorry.
No, it's honestly, I mean, I'm going to kind of give you that one just because it was really close. But I mean, that's normally when we have a guest, unless God, I can't even think. Maybe one of our friends, one of our Cleveland friends that we were up there with them. But the whatever your quote unquote normal guests are. But I mean, yeah, she's just, I was not going to say too busy, but that's not the right way. She's busy, having this conversation, and we're busy listening to her and all that stuff. And I don't know, it was fun. I had a lot of fun. But so the listener and follower, Shirley, this is the one that compared us the one time, the immature, whatever, one's more immature than the other. That she gave us that comment.
Right.
But this is Shirley's comment. She said, "What a great episode. I love Dr. Sarah and her insights on relationships. All three of you should get together and record more than once a year."
Yeah.
And I said, well, if you listen to the episode, I said, we kind of talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
And I texted that I did a screenshot and texted Dr. Sarah on that. She's like, oh, I'm up for it whenever we can go more of a deeper into whatever. And I said, let's keep in touch. We'll figure it out because once again, the main thing is that we always have a lot of fun with her, which, again, kind of main point, like you said, to begin with, but I really think that people get some things out of it. And hopefully, I think Elise was out of town this past week. So the episode, I don't know if it'll be next week, but I texted Elise right away and told her. So our episode, I didn't look on Dr. Sarah's website yet since Elise does it. So it might get another push next week.
Okay.
Because it'll go up in the Sober Curator, and I think it'll go up on Dr. Sarah's website if it's not up on that one yet. So we'll get a little bit more exposure, and
I know she posted something on Facebook I saw about the episode. So a few days ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw that, but I don't know because she has Elise embeds the podcast appearances on her website.
Gotcha.
So I think it'll be embedded on our website, but then it's going to go up on the Sober Curator. So I know Elise will do a write up on that for us too.
Cool.
But cool. So either way, I don't know. It was a lot of fun, and
it was.
We will definitely get back in touch with her and get back together with her at some point.
Definitely.
But,
yeah. Chris even said to me, she just listened to it, I think yesterday. Yeah. She's like, I really like her. She's great. So yeah, we'll have to have her back because apparently it's better than just us.
Well, here's the thing. That the thing of it is, and here's my, and if nothing else, my opinion with this is that she is like what she said it a couple of times. And the first time we recorded with her, and this time she kept saying, like she goes, "You guys are my people." She goes, "We're on the same wavelength," which I believe is true.
Yeah.
All of us, even though, again, I mean, she's got 40 fucking years sober. I think that she, the three of us were brought up through this AA program the same way by different people, but I think with the same mindset mentality. So I think we do line up very well that way.
Right.
Plus she's very talkative and very outgoing, and she'll talk about anything and answer any questions. And she always says, "Well, I'm going to go off on a tangent," which is what we do all the time.
Sure.
So
we just don't announce it; we just do it.
Right. Yeah, we start talking about whatever, and we end up 17 miles over in the other direction. But so really, I think that's what it is. Just all three of us click very well, I think.
Yes.
And Kathy said the same thing. She's like, I love Dr. Sarah. She's like, that was such a great episode. And it was. It absolutely was.
Cool.
So a couple of things, speaking of podcasts. So I listened to the Chris Robinson episode on Mark Barron. And same thing, same thing that you said, and same thing I thought of him. I thought it was a better conversation than Conan. I like Conan, but Conan's a bit of a, well, he's a bit of a fucking blowhard, and
sure.
He's cool in one sense that he gets a little fucking weird and whatever. And I don't know, Mark is just a little bit more just even with it. I just think they had a great conversation.
Yeah.
The only thing, every time I listened to Chris Robinson, it blew me away when I don't remember. I'm sure I've heard his voice before in the past, but you look at him and then you hear his voice. They don't match,
Really?
And I just didn't think. I thought he would sound more high.
Oh.
He just, because of the way, I mean, he looks more gruff and more rough, and it looks more like a hippie type of,
right.
You know what I mean? It's just, but again, people's voices and faces, sometimes they don't blend, but you're right about that when you said it. I thought the same thing when I listened to the Conan one. not only really talkative, really intelligent, knows a
Right.
lot of shit,
Mm-hmm.
and just really, he's not just some, some fucking rock and roll head,
Right.
I mean, he's really engaging to listen to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Good
but
stuff.
I really thought so too. And I started listening. I don't think I've talked to you since I started listening to the Moon Zappa book, did I?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I listened to quite a bit of it, not quite a bit, but she's got very short chapters and stuff in there moving
Mm-hmm.
in. I don't know how far in, but I mean, shit, it's been 2 weeks since I got back from North Carolina, and that's when I was listening to it on the way back. So far, I mean, I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of things, and what the interesting part, and I couldn't figure it out to begin with, but she is actually, how like some people when they write a book, they'll write it kind of in the third person, but also a little bit first person. So
Uh-huh.
they're not writing it when they're talking about how they were as a child. They're like, when I was, and this is what I went through, and this is how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
She actually wrote the book more as if she is literally speaking as the child. Okay.
Mm.
That's how it comes across. And I really had to listen to it. I'm like, I couldn't figure it out. That I'm like, holy shit. She's writing almost as with the mind of an 8-year old
Right.
or a 9-year old, rather than saying,
Mm.
this is how I felt. She's like speaking through this whole stuff. It's
Mm.
very engaging, but a couple of quick takeaways from it. First of all, I mean, she's also interesting. That family is fucked up.
Yep.
But I don't know why they ever had kids. Let's just leave it at that. It's her, the mom, and I mean
Uh-huh.
Frank's one
Right.
thing, and a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more of a public personality and the things
Sure.
that he's done and been and blah blah blah. But yeah, the mom, she's all kinds of fucked up, but
Oh yeah, Gil was a fucking bitch, but yeah, right.
crazy, just
Yep.
crazy stuff. But highly recommend it. And it's called Earth to Moon is what it's
Uh-huh.
called. And do you know the reason it's titled that?
I do not.
So I just thought, she was just like, I thought kind of like more of a came from the earth and I'm moon type of thing, and kind of a play
Mm-hmm.
on words. But her mom, Gail, used to always say, like, if she didn't think she was paying attention, or if she was basically calling her stupid, if she said something stupid, she'd
Uh-huh.
go, earth to
Uh-huh.
moon all the time, like, wake up, you
Mm-hmm.
dumb
Mm-hmm.
shit, whatever.
Right.
Very demeaning. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the title of the book, comes from her mom saying that
Yeah.
to her all the fucking time. And I'm just like, whenever times you said it, I'm like, oh, okay. But again, I highly, highly recommend it. Once again, even if you don't give a flying fuck about, Frank Zappa or even
Mm-hmm.
her in particular,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good story.
Right.
It's a good story
Right.
so far. So yeah, I need to do some more driving so I can listen to the rest of it. But speaking of rock and roll shit, before we take a break, you went to the show last night. I want to hear about that real
I
quick.
did. Yeah, no, it was Fu Manchu, Rival Sons, and Clutch. We didn't stay for Clutch. Because I'm old and yes, it was getting late, but
It was a school night.
it was a school night, absolutely. Yeah, no, I've never seen Fu Manchu before. They were really good, solid band, heavy, fuzzy, good stuff. I liked it a lot. And yeah, Rival Sons were just fantastic as always. It was at Jacob's Pavilion or whatever the hell it's called now. I think that's what it's called now. It used to be Nautica. Um, but yeah, it's this cool little amphitheater right down on the river in the flats here in Cleveland.
Okay.
So literally the back of the stage is the river,
Oh,
and
okay.
then downtown on the other side.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. And it was, yeah, Rival Sons were fucking great, man. Like they always are, just solid fucking rock and roll band.
Right.
And, they played for probably hour 20, something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it was just great. Actually, ran into a couple people that I know at the show. That was cool. Ran into my, I don't know, ex brother-in-law, my ex-wife's brother, and his best friend. That was very cool. Haven't seen them in quite a while. We run into each other at shows once in a while. Actually, he went the first time I saw Rival Sons. They played at the Grog Shop here in Cleveland, which is a small club. This was like 8 years ago,
Right.
and Megan went with me, and oh, son of a bitch, who the hell else went with us? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. That's awful. Okay, I'm gonna get my one of our poker friends. Oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. I can actually see her face, and I'm just fuck.
Sounds
Anyway,
like, looks like.
right? Yeah. Wow. All right. It'll probably come to me later. Anyway, and I ended up with an extra ticket because it was after all the nonsense that I went through 8 years ago. So I had an extra ticket, and I think Matt was on Facebook at the time, and got hold of him, and he was like, "Yeah, fuck, I want to go." So it was cool running into him and his buddy Chris, and it was actually we ran into him once, talked, shot shit with him a little bit, introduced them both to my Chris. Because I don't think they had met her. And anyway, we're on the way out. It was Rival Sons was done and Clutch hadn't come on yet, and we were leaving. It was like 9:30 at night, and ran into him again. And actually, Chris grabbed me because I've known these guys for 35 years. And he grabbed me and pulled me aside and said, "Hey man, look, I just wanted to say, I'm proud of you, the whole sobriety thing." And because they saw me at my fucking, at my worst.
Right.
And he's just like, "Yeah, I'm really proud of you," And I said, "Oh, fuck, thanks, man. It means a lot." Yeah, so, good dudes. It was nice seeing them. So yeah, the bands were great. Saw some cool people, had a good time, and got home about 10:30. It was wonderful.
Well, and you know what? And let's set aside the band thing for a minute. How everything that we were just talking about, with the
Mm-hmm.
reading and stuff like that, that is the shit right there.
Right.
All these different things we do and all the whatevers and the focusing and just having somebody come up,
Mm-hmm.
randomly like that
Yeah.
and saying anything literally fucking random and out of the blue,
Yeah.
that is fucking wonderful.
Yeah. It was nice. It
That's
really
great.
was. Yeah.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But I've never, maybe through you, have I heard of Fu Manchu before? Did you
I
talk
don't
about
know.
him before? I
No,
mean, have
I
you?
mean,
No.
they're.
Okay.
I wasn't very. I knew like a song or two here and there. I knew they were
Okay.
good, but yeah, and actually in preparation for the show, I listened to some more of their stuff, and yeah, I like it a lot. I might have to go out and pick up a CD. They're heavy fuzz, kind of punk, kind of surf. I don't know. Yeah, influenced, but kind of doom fuzz, heavy. Yeah, they're good. Rock and roll, man. It's all fucking rock and roll.
Right. And I mean, Rival Sons, if anyone's been listening for a while, well, when I was all headstrong and going up to see fucking Greta Van Fleet 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and Rival Sons was they were the second band
Yeah.
in that set too. They were the ones that they took the fucking show. The
Oh
opening
yeah.
one, the opening Velveteers.
Velveteers. Yeah.
Velveteers. I got it right. Wow. They were wonderful, and Rival
Yeah.
Sons just fucking crushed. And then
Yep.
Greta Van Fleet was a
Yep.
fucking terrible. But
Yeah.
but no, I mean, I would love to see them again. I think they came around Milwaukee at I don't know. I see every once in a while that they've been kicking around. I'd like to see them again because now they have. Wasn't that was it Chevrolet that they did that
Yeah,
took their
they took Pressure and Time. Yeah, for
yeah.
about a year they were playing that for the pickup commercials. Yep,
Right. Yeah, so that I mean they obviously got some
got some money.
yeah, I mean national money, national exposure and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean they come up on because for a while there, I think it was right after we obviously came back from there. I played them a lot on Spotify. So
Mm-hmm.
certain mixes that I come across, I mean they're literally part of my depending on what I'm playing, they come up in my kind of mix on Spotify
Uh-huh.
now. I love their music, I really do.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. I'd love to
Yeah,
see them again.
just
So
great fucking band, right? I mean, again, when I saw them at the Grog Shop like 8 years ago, that was amazing because it was a small club, and they actually postponed that show. They were supposed to play like maybe 8 or 9 months before they actually did, and they got the opening slot for the Black Sabbath final tour.
oh yeah.
So so they were going out. They went out for like 6 months with them, and we're doing 45 minutes. So this was the first show after that tour because they came back and made up the show that they were supposed to play here in Cleveland. They played for 2.5 hours in a fucking small club. It was fucking great, man.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you said that, I remember you. I remember you talking about that. Number one, seeing the show and the fact that they were the Sabbath thing, and then the fact that they played for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, and it was so funny. I think it was Tuesday, whenever you maybe Tuesday or Wednesday when you had posted that it was Wednesday because you're like, oh, tomorrow night, and it had crossed my mind on Wednesday, and I was going to text you, and I'm like, we are recording on Friday this week, right?
Yes,
because I'm looking at my upcoming guest stuff, and I'm like, I would normally date whatever. I'm like, but I don't. We've been so much on a Thursday here and there. And then I saw the Rival Sons thing. I'm like, oh yeah, well we can't fucking record tomorrow because
nope, I won't be home.
He said a goddamn show. I'm like, that answered my question. So
yep,
that's good though. I was excited to hear. I mean, I knew I didn't think you'd come back and say, they're usually pretty good, but they kind of sucked.
Nope. They were fucking amazing, man. And it was funny. They had a backdrop on the stage of their logo, right? Like they raised it up,
right?
And about halfway through the set, it just fucking kind of lowered down, and the river was behind them. It was really cool. I don't know if they did that intentionally. Like somebody went, you know what, man, drop the fucking banner down. They know who the hell we are. The backdrop is really cool behind us, right. And there are boats going by and shit. And it was just, it was a great show.
That's cool. And once again, we talked about this a number of times, all the concerts that you've gone to since you've been sober. And, it's just, again, it's another testament of, the same thing you talked about with the radio show and all that stuff. And, that's sitting in your bunk at 2 weeks. And am I still going to be able to enjoy myself and get out and rock and roll? And, just another proof, of, hey, especially if people are listening to us and you're new. There's times when, years ago, I wouldn't have even thought about doing that. Mike's been doing this for years.
Yep.
I would do any of this shit now. It doesn't bother me anymore. I got comfortable, in my own skin. But that's the point, man. You get some time and do the work, and we can do anything we want as long as we're fit, spiritually fit, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We can get out and shake our asses at a Rival Sons show.
I may have gotten a small contact buzz last night. No, there was a lot of pot smoke in the air. I will say that.
Well, and when we were at the Harley thing, when we're watching the motorcycles, doing all the stunt bikes and whatever. And once again, I never smoked. I didn't do drugs or anything like that. I don't give a flying fuck if anyone does. The only thing I don't want to be, I just don't want to be engulfed by it. That's all.
Right.
But I don't want to be engulfed by cigarette smoke either. Even when I was smoking, I don't want to be engulfed by it. Just be mindful. So when you went to use the restroom, I'm sitting there watching. I could smell the weed, and all of a sudden I get this fucking waft of it. And I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't figure out where it's coming from. Then it happens again. I turned around, and this fucking dude's there with his woman, probably 6 feet behind me, not that far, 7-8 feet. And he's looking at me, and he's like, what? I'm like, nothing. And then he and his woman walked away. But I'm like, it just have some courtesy. That's all. But yeah, it's, I don't know. We were years ago, Pearl Jam show that Kathy and I were at Soldier Field. We're in the upper, way up nosebleed seats.
Right.
No alcohol show, but there was plenty of fucking weed there because we were getting it. And it was hot as fuck too, and no breeze. It's just like, holy shit, man, fucking weed.
Yep.
But no, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you had a good time. So, hey, we got more stuff. But on that note, what do you think, Mike? Is it time for a break?
It is. It is time for a break. All right. Stay tuned for more Sober Not Mature right after these words from our sponsors.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
Yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
So
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And once again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Sponsors, visitors. Again, right. I like that. Because you know what? It depends. It always depends.
It does,
but
right. Cover my bases.
Your bases is.
This is.
All right, so I got one more. one more. I got another musical question on this, but I'll save that for later. One more rock and roll thing. So, Dave Grohl had a baby.
Yeah.
So the first of all, when Kimmy had sent it to me, and I'm looking at him like, is this a fucking joke? Because I seriously thought it was like a joke meme. Then I looked it up. I'm like, holy shit! And then I just saw, I don't know, a couple of days ago. Did you see how old the chick is?
No.
20.
That I have. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, gee, rock and roll guy fucked a little girl. Okay, that's never happened before.
I know. It's just, I think that's actually almost made it better, because I'm like, okay, so if he's gonna fuck up, you might as well just go all the way. Just get it all fucked up. Fucking 55-year-old man. So here's the thing, and a couple of different things. First of all, I don't condone the fact that he cheated on his wife. I mean, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I mean, I'm not saying, yeah, he's rock and roll, should go out and fuck chicks. It is what it is, do I think that he's any different than any other rock and roll guy, or maybe any other guy for that, for that instance? Again, I read this one article. It's like, okay, so, has been a decent person. Was he this, this, I don't know, people were putting him on some sort of pedestal or whatever it was, probably, like last one of the good guys and blah, blah, blah. Well, whatever. If that's what you were doing, that's your fucking fault,
Yep.
But the person was saying that, okay, so yeah, maybe it took 30 years for him to, really fuck up, blah, blah, blah. But they're like, you know what? It's human. He made a mistake and he's trying to own up for it, which again, he fucked up his marriage. He did all this different stuff and all that, whatever. But I just couldn't, I don't know. You're 55 years old. The second thing that popped into my mind after I laughed was, okay, why haven't you gotten a vasectomy yet?
Right.
And I don't know. Why aren't you wearing a fucking condom? I mean, just if you're going to, I'm not condoning it, but if you're going to fuck around, really?
Right.
And especially, so that's why I laughed at it even harder when I found out the chick was 20. I'm like, okay, if he's, banging some hot 45-year-old that, may be beyond the point of having kids or whatever. But no, he oh, I just like, okay, whatever. But, but then I'm like I'm wondering, and I haven't seen anyone like boycott him or anything like that. I mean, if it just, I don't know, it just kind of, it blew my mind, but I don't know. It just made me laugh. That's all. It's just, I'm like, really? Okay. Yeah. Nice job. Nice job.
Yeah. Neither here nor there to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. Yeah. Drummer knocked up some young girl. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It just fucking made me laugh. So, all right. Enough laughing for a minute here on a, I guess more of a serious side. So, a week ago, yeah, 'cause it was before, a week ago, what, Monday, Tuesday, when we heard about it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so a buddy of ours, a guy named Joe, I'm not going to say his last name. It's
Right.
nobody's fucking business, and it's unimportant, for the masses to necessarily know. But
Mm-hmm.
found out a buddy of ours died, and
Right.
to begin with, we just saw a post on Facebook. His wife posted it.
Yeah.
Now Joe came into the Keating Center. I know exactly when his sobriety date was to begin with.
Uh-huh.
It was July 11th of 2020. I just know that.
7-Eleven.
Yep, because he used to always say that. He's like, "Hey, look at me,
Yeah.
7-Eleven,"
Right.
and I never forgot it because again,
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
to remember.
Right.
So a couple of things. I forgot. Well, first of all, he was 43. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that he was that much younger than us.
Right.
I knew he was young when he came in, but
Mm-hmm.
well, I suppose the other Joe that came in around that time he's got to be in around the same age. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
there
Right.
was a lot of guys that were in there. Richie's
Sure.
youngish, mid
Yep.
40s maybe.
Right.
So, and we didn't hear right away, and then we saw the obituary, and
Mm-hmm.
apparently died complications of pneumonia is what
Right.
was in
Mm-hmm.
the obit.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing too is that the one thing we know, and I think I heard from you and other people, we know he didn't stay sober the entire time. That much we
No.
know, right?
Yeah. Right.
Bounced in and out. We don't know what
Mm-hmm.
state he was in at the time or
No.
whatever.
Right.
I haven't seen him in years. I haven't seen him. He wasn't real active on Facebook over the last
Mm-hmm.
3-4 years,
Yeah.
probably.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I could speculate. How does a 43-year-old die of pneumonia? I mean, it could happen to
Right.
anyone, but
Mm-hmm.
is it same thing like we were talking about with Matthew Perry, years of abuse or whatever? Yeah, with him, ended up being fucking ketamine, Matthew Perry. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but was it years of abuse and this and that? And,
Right.
a thing. I don't want to say a little thing. Pneumonia is pneumonia, but
Sure.
was it a thing like that just
Right.
I
Well.
would think pneumonia normally wouldn't knock a 43-year-old out, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, he had, some lung problems. I do know that. I
did he?
also
I
know
remember that.
yeah. He did like rattling cough and shit, that
Oh
he
shit,
shouldn't have
maybe.
had.
Okay.
Yeah, and he also did a lot of the bodybuilding shit, which I know he did a lot of steroids.
Right.
Which fucks you up. So yeah, again, physical abuse to ourselves in lots of different ways, and yeah, caught up with them one way or another. Yeah, 43, it sucks.
Right.
Right. I mean, again, I don't know either. And I mean, I could have reached out to Jess, but really wasn't my place. And
Right.
yeah, you know, um, we talked about going to the memorial. I had stuff going on, and you had stuff going on, and yeah, like you said, early sobriety. Yeah, I was pretty close with Joe, and his wife and his kid, and we hung out quite a bit. I know more than you did. But yeah, like same thing. He bounced. He was doing his own thing there for a while. I don't hang out with non sober people. It just kind of works out that way. They don't want to hang out with me either. Trust me. And so yeah, we grew apart and lost touch and whatever. I think the last time I actually saw him was at a meeting. God, 6 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, it sucks, man. Yeah, it sucks. Too fucking young and leaving people behind. But remember, kids, we're not hurting anybody but ourselves, even if it's not. It's whatever, man. You don't drop dead at 43 because you're fucking healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge. Most people that are, and again, everything we just talked about before too.
Mm-hmm.
The abuse, and you want to speak of the gratitude, and I've
Yeah.
talked about it that first when I went in for my first physical, 11
Mm-hmm.
months, I was fucking scared,
Right.
because I knew what condition I was in when
Mm-hmm.
I went into detox, and
Right.
I'm like, fuck, man, I don't know,
Yeah.
but so far, I don't
Yeah.
believe in knocking
Oh,
on wood, but I almost did. But I mean, it is what it
yeah.
is. All those fucking years, maybe whatever ends up killing me in the end will be a result of. I don't doubt it, that it
Right.
could be a contributing factor. But the thing of it is, and when I saw it, and I'm like, okay, I've got the time and I could do this, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
texted you. And I put in the text, I'm like, well, we got a podcast topic, and I said I think I said to you, I said I could be swayed either way.
Mm-hmm.
and that would be as far as whether I went or not. And
Right.
the fact that there's like, I think this what the must be high school football time there, because I forget when we recorded this time of night. It's like sounded like thunder. I'm like, is it fucking raining? There's
Mm.
but the high school, is right up the road, so it must
Right.
be right before the game. But anyhow, so but the point was, it was uh, it was a sense of relief that if you weren't going to go, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm not going to go,
Right.
because part of me, and there was a few people, and I can think of two off the top of my head, throughout the time that we, were sober and that had
Mm-hmm.
passed away. And I didn't want to go to their funeral because I didn't want to,
Right.
I'm like, I just want to remember them for who they were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sit there and look at them in a fucking box. I just didn't want
Right.
to.
Yeah.
And to your point, and you're right, I think the first year and a half, maybe 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I spent a lot of time around Joe. I saw him at meetings and all that stuff, and
Sure.
especially at the Keating Center, we were all kind of, pretty close and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he was one of those group of guys, that came in that summer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
From us in April through November, there's these core group of guys that, there was a number of them that, and we
Mm-hmm.
might be down to 8 or 9, that are still alive and sober,
Yeah. Right.
out of the 15 or so that stayed sober for a number of years. But,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it hit me when I saw it. I'm just like, fuck me, man.
Right.
And again, I haven't seen him in a while. He wasn't one of our close circle of friends, but
Mm-hmm.
again, there was that early connection that,
Oh yeah.
that I had with him. And I'm like you said, again, not hurting anyone but yourself, ha ha type of thing, and not
Mm.
laughing, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, I mean, all this shit, man. And I thought about, his daughter Tony, and I thought about,
Right.
think about Jess. I forgot they'd been married for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
That fucking blew my mind too when I saw that in the obit. But yeah, it was just one of those. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm okay with not going. I remember skinny little Joe from years ago that
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't a fucking pile of muscles and working at the
Yep.
car wash and
Yeah.
all those sort of things. Just good dude, and I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I'll miss him.
Yeah.
It
Me too.
Yeah, just like you say, it just I don't know, one of those things. It's anyone that's out there. Once again, if you're new, the unfortunate part is that this is unfortunately normal.
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know. I've lost count. I mean, of the
Yeah.
number of people that we've known, that we've been close or close-ish
Mm-hmm.
with, and then God, don't even start counting the people that are on the fringe. Friends of friends that
Right.
I knew who they were, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And literally you forget the names and faces, but it's been so many, it's fucking heartbreaking sometimes. But
Right.
no bad examples, right? It should, and I've
Yeah.
got the same thing too. This is another thing, I suppose, that we could focus on. We could focus on this and like, well, what's the fucking point? He was a good dude and he did this and he did that. What's the
Mm-hmm.
point? Which is not the case. I mean, I never think that way, but I think it'd be easy for one of us, quote unquote, to get into a funk when, someone like that dies, right?
Right. Oh yeah. And again, focus on self, man. I feel bad for
Right.
the family and right. You know. Um. Yeah. Like I said, man, I spent hell. I knew his parents, and
Right.
I a couple of years there, we were pretty fucking close friends. And been to several of his houses, because they moved around a bit, and yeah, it sucks. It
Right.
sucks, man. I feel bad for Jess and Tony and yeah, all of them. No bad examples.
Right.
I think I'll yeah, I won't do steroids and I won't I won't lift any weights today.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to get into the. I won't get into the bodybuilding. I can pretty much assure you of that. Not even pretty much.
Mhm.
I can 100% guarantee
Yeah.
I will never. If I didn't want to get into, I didn't want to get into weights when I was in high school. When I
Mhm.
could have. And I played soccer and I ran track. And there was people that did just light weights. I joined a club at one point years ago.
Mhm.
Mid 20s, I think,
Right.
maybe mid to late 20s, because I thought that if I joined a club, I would, be able to, quit smoking and whatever. This and
And
because that would
drinking.
I no 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 no. Here's the That never even crossed my mind, even once. It was the smoking part. I thought I was going to try to quit smoking. But here's the funny part. This club I went to, at the time, it was called it was in Waukesha where I lived. So it was a Waukesha Athletic Club. It turned out to be, there's now a string of them all around there. It's a Wisconsin Athletic Club now. So they're a big chain now. But so on my way home, just pull in there, whatever it was. And when you sign up, I mean, they got you for like fucking 18 months, whether you go or don't.
Yeah,
It was like $30 a month or some stupid shit.
Oh.
And I was going on a regular basis. It's just going, hitting the bike, doing a little bit of light weights, legs, arms, whatever. I wanted to tone up, just get some cardio, do whatever. But this club had a fucking bar in it. Swear to God. So
it's Wisconsin. What do you expect? There's a bar and everything in Wisconsin. There's a bar in churches in Wisconsin.
So later, after you're done, it was a guy I ran into. Actually, I think the first 3-4 times I went there, and I ran into a guy I used to work with. So he ended up he'd be there sometimes at the same time as I would. So he and I would sit at the bar and have a beer after we did a fucking workout. It was, and I started, I think, doing it in probably November. I made it until the weather got nice. I'm like, fuck this, man. I want to go sit outside and go do whatever. And I stopped, and so I paid for it for a year and a half, and probably went there for like 4 fucking months. But no, weightlifting is not that's nothing I'm going to get into. But anyhow, to your point, I guess back to Joe real quick is just his our thoughts go out to obviously his family and his wife and his child, and the people that, like you say, the people that that we leave behind, right?
Yep.
So, all right. Let's do one sober. I got a couple of stories for you too, but I got a couple of sober things here.
All right.
So this was from a while ago, and it's funny because I think I must have written this down out of God Grant Me around Christmas time, because you'll see in a minute. It says, today I will list 5 things that make me merry. So I looked at this, and this is one of the ones that's been on here clearly for a long time. So obviously, let's look at this. Today I'll list the 5 things that make me happy. When is the last time that I've done these things? So do you have anything, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't even have to be 5 things, like top 1 or 2, top 3, whatever, things that really, like, if nothing else, this is what's going to make my day.
Make me merry. Well, I did one last night.
Right.
Saw a fucking couple killer rock and roll bands. Got a little dressed up and went out with my lady. And it was all, that did one last night. I don't know, shit, being a part of, even though it's a real goddamn pain in the ass, I'm doing plenty of that. Like I said, Keating Center's got a fundraiser tomorrow,
right?
And then my home group anniversary on Sunday. I don't want to do any of it, and I know I'm going to be fucking happy when I do it. So there you go. Being a part of something bigger than myself does make me happy. Make me merry.
It actually made me laugh. I put a star by that one because I glanced at that before we started doing this, and I'm like, it's got to be a fucking Christmas one. It just has to be,
right?
So those are the things: rock and roll, spending time with your lady, being a part of.
Yep. Yeah, that's those are top 3.
Yeah, and you know what? Being a part of is, I mean, hanging out with my kids, doing that. I get to do that on Sunday. I'm heading up to Wisconsin, and
cool.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm driving. It's 5.5, 6 hours of driving back and forth. Last couple of years I've done it, on or around my birthday, and I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, because that hour or whatever I get to spend with my kids and my grandson, I mean, it's just fucking wonderful. That shit makes me happy. Yes, going out and seeing all these fucking things that I'm doing, that makes me extremely happy. It's their experiences. But what I thought about, because we were going back and forth on the Facebook page with the poker thing, which goes along with being a part of. It's not really. I enjoy playing poker.
Sure.
But it's playing poker with that group, because I don't think I wouldn't go out of my way to sit down with just a random group of people to play poker.
Oh no.
That doesn't, I really don't think I would. I was going to say, even in a casino, I've sat down and played blackjack, but I don't think I'd sit down and play poker. I'd be too intimidated to play around a big group,
Right.
But yeah, things like that, kind of the same thing. And I do like going to festivals and concerts and that sort of thing. I don't do it as much as you do, but and the funny part is all these different things. Well, I guess me going around and seeing all these things, that's solo adventures, but I'd be just as happy doing it with somebody else. But
Sure.
it's kind of funny, the two of us, not that we're non-peopleish, sort of. I've gotten less peopleish over the years. I don't need groups of people as much as I used to.
No.
Which is weird because I think it's probably happened just the soberer that I've gotten.
Yeah.
Being more comfortable in my skin. We've talked about that,
and,
which
and
is
less tolerant of nonsense.
You know what? That's another thing too. I guess I wasn't even thinking about that, but that's a goddamn good point. Yeah, it is. It's a nonsense. I don't want to be around the fucking nonsense.
Nope.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. But yeah, even with going out to, like I said, that one trail that I went to, when I pulled in, it was all the people. I'm like, oh, fuck me. So I'm like thinking again in my head, this is going to take away from my experience. What are you people doing here? But it didn't affect it at all. But yeah, but I mean, it's kind of funny that the things we're talking about are actually, people stuff, surprisingly. Okay.
Right.
So now that we're all merry.
And bright.
Merry and bright. All right. So from Keep It Simple, the best leaders are those who know how to follow. Do you agree with that? And also, do you consider yourself to be a leader or a follower? But let's start with the beginning. The saying again, or the statement was, the best leaders are those who know how to follow. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, it's, as it pertains to the program, which most things do.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. The best. Yeah. How am I going to show somebody else how to do this thing if I don't follow directions and do the thing? So yeah, absolutely. The better I am at helping someone else, lead someone through the steps. I have to be good at following the steps and following someone else. So absolutely, that makes perfect sense. As far as life goes, I don't know.
Do you consider yourself to be more of a leader or a follower in a general sense, do you think?
I consider myself to be neither. I'd rather not follow someone else, and I sure as hell don't want anybody following me. I want to go out and do things my way. I'm an alcoholic. I know the best way. Don't you know that? Yeah, thankfully, I've learned that as it pertains to the program and the steps, yes, I have to follow and I have to lead.
Right.
But other aspects of life, not so much. I want to be left alone and I want to do my own thing. And, again, I've been taught how to do it the right way now, as opposed to the other way I used to do it. But yeah, to my own self be true, I still want to do it on my own and do it my way. And yeah. So, I don't know. I'm neither and I'm both and all of the above.
Once again, one of those questions where it's just basically yes. Do you consider
Pretty much.
yourself a leader or a follower? Yes. Yeah.
Actually, no. And that one, the answer is no.
Right. Okay. No.
Except when it comes to the program, then yes.
Well, and the funny thing is that, like, when you were talking about the best leaders are to know how to follow, and you're right. I mean, I think when I wrote it down, it kind of crossed my head because I'm like, that could go either way. So I thought it'd be a good conversation. Because I can lead if somebody asks me to would lead something or a project or anything like that. I have no problem doing it.
Right.
So I can do that. But I also, to your point, I become I never used to like to follow or be led. But that comes with, once again, being sober, being more sober, being still more sober,
right,
and learning, obviously the things that we have. But I think the coolest part is realizing that, when we need to be a leader and when we need to be a follower. And I think that goes back to, at least for me, I thought about the ego part of it. I need to be able to, set my ego aside and say, okay, right now at this moment, do I know the best way? If not, I know somebody else will. How did this person get to that point?
Right.
but then also there's somebody else that's not at my point, so I can help them. So it's a give and take, knowing when to lead and knowing when you have to follow. So it is, yeah. Are you a leader or a follower? No.
No. And
Absolutely
yes.
not. Yeah, yes, but absolutely not.
Right. Hope that's clear enough for all you out there.
Yeah. Did we, write that one down, everyone? If you're unsure of what we said, we do have a transcript for the episode. You can read it a couple of times and see if it doesn't make even more sense
or less.
Yeah, exactly. See, see if we can actually confuse you in writing.
Right.
But no, I don't know. It's I haven't looked at that in a while, and it's a thinking one. But I like what you said, but I also like what she didn't say. All right, so a couple of so it's and I didn't mean for this. This is 2 weeks ago. I mean, I've been back from North Carolina for 2 weeks now, as of tomorrow.
Right.
And obviously we had Dr. Sarah on last week, so I didn't get a time to bring it up. But this was just fucking weird. We're heading into the spooky season anyhow, so this is kind of a ghost story, not really, but. So the last night that I was there, and again, I'm in this cabin up on top of a fucking hill. It's surrounded by woods. There's nobody fucking around. I can't see anything out there. And I was up a little bit later because I almost went to bed early because the Packer game was on. I'm like, yeah, they're going to win. And then start getting good. So I was up until, I don't know, close to midnight. I wanted to get up at like 5 because I'd pack everything up and get out. Long drive back, blah, blah, blah. So I woke up. Something woke me up, and it was like 3:30 in the morning. Okay. So I've been asleep for like fucking 3.5 hours. And I heard in where the bedroom window was, face the side of the house, and there's like this patio area down below where the grill was and everything like that. And what I heard was what woke me up. It sounded like a scraping. Okay, and literally, I swear to fucking God, it sounded like almost like a shovel scraping on rock. Okay, and again, I wake up and I'm hearing this and I'm like, what the fuck, and I'm half asleep or whatever. So of course I get up and I walk outside and I'm standing out there on the porch with my phone, got the flashlight on. I'm shining it all around and I'm shining it down. And as I get out, by the time I get up and walk outside, I don't hear anything anymore, And then I'm sitting there shining this like down there and around the house or whatever. And then it clicks and I'm like, what the fuck if somebody was out here?
Yeah, right.
I mean, but again, I'm half asleep or whatever. Don't even think about this before I get out there. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I just back into the house, lay back down, and I don't hear it anymore. So here's the thing. I don't know what I heard or if I heard anything now. Okay. But in the morning, I'm looking over there, kind of walk down. I'm like, was somebody digging a fucking hole for me,
right.
or
Is there
what?
A fresh grave?
Yeah, is there a hole anywhere? So last thing I thought, like I think it was on the drive back, I was thinking, I'm like, oh fuck, man, not me, but the roof, it's like a steel roof, right? It could have been an animal up there. It could have been a bird. It could have been maybe not bird at night. It could have been a squirrel or anything like that scraping on that steel. It could have been anything like that, you know?
Yeah. Probably a raccoon, but right.
Oh yeah. There you go, raccoon or something like that. So clearly nothing that could have been dangerous. But I'm standing outside, literally in the middle of what feels like in the middle of fucking nowhere where I was, and just my shorts and t-shirt, a fucking flashlight on my phone, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot,
right? Yeah, there's a 7-foot dude with a shovel.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I guess this is the way I go out. So, all right, that is.
I was going to say, I've seen that movie, Cabin in the Woods. Right.
I know, and that's the thing. It's all you always see the black people in the movie going, white people, don't go in there,
right?
Don't do that.
Yep.
Why do the white people always have to go take a look?
Right.
And there I was.
There you are.
There I was, like a stupid white dude walking out, going, oh. What's out here?
Hi there. What school do you go to?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. But no, it really did. I mean, clearly, obviously, it freaked me out. But whatever it was nothing. I had a great time. But it was funny on the way back, though, driving out of there. Because it's like the first 45 minutes of the drive out of there, and I forgot about it when I came in, because again, the last 45 minutes to an hour, you get off the main highway and stuff, and it's just this windy road kind of through the mountains. You're in Tennessee and stuff, getting over to where I was in North Carolina. So these windy roads all around the mountains and stuff like that, fucking beautiful,
Yeah.
and get there and get on the highway. And so I'm going through and going out, and it's like the further north that I go, you start to see the hills go away and the mountains go away and the beauty goes away. And by the time I get it, you start getting in, I'm like, well, this is fucking depressing.
Right.
I mean, for 3 goddamn weeks, everywhere I drove, there was mountains all over the place and fucking woods and streams and bluffs. And I'm like, there's nothing but fucking flatness.
Right. And then you hit Ohio.
Yeah, in Indiana and Illinois, and shit. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it was just kind of funny. It's just like, you just see everything like somebody, like an air mattress deflating as you're driving home, going, oh, this is no fun anymore.
Right. There's a reason I left.
But no, it was again, wonderful time. It was just that was the last thing. That was the last thing that I had at that part. But so last thing. So I said, well, it happened when I was there, but I forgot to bring it up. I went inadvertently went the better part of a week without drinking caffeine.
Okay.
So the kind of coffee that I buy, I can't think of the name of it now, but all of the I buy the bags of coffee, not the container, but they're bags of it. And because it's relatively inexpensive, get it at Walmart or buy or whatever, same brand. It's something starts with a G, but it's actually pretty good coffee. And all the house blend, the Columbia, I've got one other type of, they're all like in the same package, and all like with this green labeling on it. So whatever it was, I bought 2 bags of it one time, and anyhow, all done with this bag, and I'm about to throw it out, and I look at it, and it was decaf, and I'm like, I looked at it, I'm like, what the fuck? And I had just bought a new bag when I went grocery shopping that day. I looked in the freezer and I looked at it and I'm like, it's the same color, but I had bought the house blend and, the Columbia brand, and that was fine. But the house blend was the decaf. So when next time I was at the grocery store, I looked and that's what it is. The regular and the decaf look the same. It's just, it's got like in red where it says decaf. So I grabbed the wrong bag. But so it takes me maybe not a full week, but goddamn close to it. And so I'm drinking decaf, you know? So do you remember when I said that day that I woke up that it was one of the days we recorded, I think, or the day before we recorded. And I'm like, God, I was so fucking tired. And when I said I was nauseous and whatever, yeah, that would have been like 2 days into, I'm guessing, probably 2 days, like a Tuesday, and I probably would have started that new bag of coffee on like a Sunday. So I'm like 2 days into like no caffeine. I had soda, in there,
Right.
but almost no caffeine. Where I'm usually drinking caffeine all day. So I'm not sleeping well. I'm tired as fuck. I'm nauseous. And they're like, sometimes you could actually feel almost anxious, which I was. And I'm like, I couldn't fucking figure it out. So I looked it up and I'm like, look up. I'm like, God, I never, ever, ever looked up what caffeine. Oh, headache. Had a fucking monster headache for a few days too.
Yeah, right. That I know.
Yeah, again, imagine that, right? And I can't fucking figure it out. So, and I look up all this stuff, and I knew the headache part of it, the caffeine withdrawals. But yeah, it's like restlessness, irritableness, nauseous, all this different stuff. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And the day that I remembered it, I think it was a Thursday or a Friday. So might have been the day that I don't know, whatever it was, whatever we recorded, I forgot to bring it up. It was you and I recording on a Thursday, the last time we did before Dr. Sarah.
Right.
And I forgot to tell you about it. But so that was the day that I started on caffeine again. So I was fine. I wasn't like jittery or anything like that, but I get in bed that night. And every once in a while when you lay down and just sometimes you lay down and you're like, oh, this feels fucking good. I'm gonna get a great night's sleep. So I'm laying there for about 10 minutes. And it's like you see in the cartoons where somebody just opens up their eyes and they're wide awake. And that's what I felt like. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, I haven't had any caffeine for probably, I don't know, 5 days or 6 days. And now I just drank caffeine all fucking day. I couldn't get to sleep.
Nice.
Hasn't happened since, but now I even myself back out again. I'm back on the stuff. I'm good. I got myself well again after a couple of days.
That's good.
But it was again, I have no issue with, maybe it's someday, at some point, I'll quit drinking caffeine or whatever. But at least, I'd like to know,
right,
that I'm doing it. Because if I did it, I would taper. I would go, because they got, there's decaf, but there's also half calf, and you could do all these different things.
Right.
Like you should taper down so you don't have these fucking
Yeah, right.
problems.
You don't have a fucking seizure and die.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm out there. I'm out there looking for people digging graves, and I'm going off I'm going off a caffeine cold turkey.
Wow.
I know. Yeah.
Living on the edge.
Yeah, and not even on purpose. Not even on purpose. So,
Wow.
all right. Another sober thing. So this had I don't know if it had to do with a reading or not, but always or never. Okay, so the word always or never. Is there ever a time that you think when it's appropriate to go to either one of those extremes to say always this or never that?
Nope.
All right, next question.
Right. No, I mean, the easy one for us is, I'm never going to drink again, but that's fucking dangerous too.
Right, exactly.
Right. That's the way they taught us, man. No, I'm not drinking today. That's one day at a time, man. I can't, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to drink ever again, but I don't know. I don't fucking know. I sure as hell don't know if I'm ever doing drugs again. I don't,
Right.
I know I'm not doing them today. It's, hell, I got 3.5 hours here, 3 hours and 39 minutes to get through today.
Right.
So yeah, I'm pretty goddamn sure I'm not doing it today. That's pretty much a never. But yeah, and always is really fucking dangerous. No, no, fuck that, man. I got to be open to change. My way is not the right way. This is the way I do it. This is always the way I've done it. This is the way I'm always going to do it. But I don't think so. I'd be dead if I kept that shit up. And I did for a long time and got real close.
Right.
So yes, always and never, the only absolutes are the absolutes, and they're not even absolute because they're just goals to shoot for. The honesty. I try to be as honest as I can, but I can't be completely honest because I'm a fucking drunk and a liar and a cheat and a thief. Pure, yeah, not 100% pure by any means, never will be. These are things I shoot for. Unselfish, no, that one ain't gonna happen. Love, that guy just cut me off again. I do not love him. So yeah, even the absolutes aren't absolute. I was taught that by some people. Yeah, no, always and never are real fucking dangerous. And so absolutely not. Wait, what?
Never say never.
Thank you.
Always say always. But no, and I thought about the same thing because there are readings that we read, in the books, the normal books that we read,
Right.
that talk about, and I'm sure, I don't know if the words are this way, but probably along the lines, am I convinced that I can never drink alcohol again, or that I can, never this or whatever.
Right.
And I specifically will say to myself, well, I'm pretty convinced today I won't.
Yep.
Because it makes me nervous to put an end result on that. And
Right.
this goes back to what we were taught to begin with. Nobody ever told us that we were never going to be able to drink or use again.
Right.
What they told us was, we're going to show you why you won't need to, and that's the thing. I have the tools right at this moment and hopefully for the rest of the day. And if I work at it, do the same things tomorrow, I have a good chance tomorrow where I'm not going to need to use a substance, But yeah, always or never. And, I know I've said it on here a number of times, I'm not an always or never guy, but, and say, this is what I usually do type of thing. Even go so far as, like our routine,
Right.
I mean, I get up every morning and to this day, I've never missed. I can say that I've never missed the 24-hour book. I've never missed doing my prayers. I've never missed doing my readings in the morning.
Right.
And these are the books that I have always read. But I mean, who knows what, I have no reason to think that I will stop reading the 24-hour book or God grant me or whatever, but I don't know, same thing. I go along this path of what I did, for a certain number of years, what I do today, but all of a sudden that this works and this adds to and whatever, and things change. I think that goes along with, we have to be flexible, I think, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we do. So, right. Yeah. I know I read those things this morning. I'm pretty sure I'm going to read them tomorrow, but it hasn't happened yet. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure I will. Yeah. But yeah, always and never. Now there are no absolutes, including the absolutes.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, and like I said, I don't remember. I say that all the time. I have no idea how I came to that conclusion or that statement or
Mm-hmm.
where it came from. But okay, last one, and this is just kind of a fun one, and I don't even think I looked at this. I don't remember what they said. So, they had one of those little teaser stories on the morning show I listened to,
Mm-hmm.
and it said, "Let me see if hopefully I saved it." Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you think they were doing a story on? God, if this will even open up now. Oh, that's fine. Now the fucking there it is. I'm like, now the link on my phone's not working. What the fuck? This always works.
Right.
They were
Or it
talking
never
about
works.
right. They were talking about the list of top 10 states with the worst or most road rage,
Ah,
which I thought would be, you're on the road a lot. I'm doing a
I
little bit more
am.
driving than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of, now that I look at it, now I remember looked at it, it kind of surprised me. Well, it doesn't matter if it surprised me. What do you think the number one state with in the way it's listed as with the 10 states have the worst road rage?
Uh-huh. Number one, road rage. I'm trying to think out there. Um, well, I mean, all those lists. Let's just go for the obvious one. Mississippi.
You know what? It's down in the area, sort of Louisiana,
Louisiana.
which it kind of blew my mind a little bit. But apparently, again, according to some nationwide survey, blah blah blah, New Mexico is number 2,
Huh.
Montana number 3,
Okay.
Colorado and Arkansas. Let me see who. Oh, look at that! North Carolina was number 7. I was just there. They didn't seem that bad there.
Right.
Wisconsin is number 9.
Yeah.
And Georgia's number 10. Ohio didn't even make the list.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, it's not for bad drivers. It's just
Right.
for road rage.
Right. I
So
don't
what
know.
about? And they say that they give a top 5 of the states with the least road rage. What do you think? Number 1 least.
Least. Hawaii.
You know what? That's not a bad guess, but it's New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
And then Rhode Island is second. California is third, which that surprises me. But I don't know. It just kind of blew my mind. I'm like, Louisiana. I mean, you've driven there? I know that. I haven't driven in Louisiana in years. I don't remember.
Right.
I don't remember it enough to
being specifically rage
road
filled.
road ragiest.
I mean, yeah, it's probably been 10 years or so since I've driven down there.
Right.
No, nothing really jumps out at me. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess the fact that Wisconsin made the list, it should have made the list of, well, the thing of it is in Wisconsin and Ohio is bad-ish with the left lane drivers, but
Right.
you and I drove up to twice. We drove up to we were up to Green Bay just the one time, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I know you've driven up there plenty of times, but
Right.
that area from Germantown where we used to live up to Appleton and up to Green Bay,
Mm-hmm.
that Highway 41 areas,
Yeah.
it's fucking terrible, just so fucking terrible all the time.
Yep.
After being in Ohio for 3 years, after getting sober out there and coming back to Wisconsin like that first time 2 years in, I was just like, I forgot how fucking horrible these people are. I mean, because I used to get mad in Ohio driving back and forth to work
Right.
from, Fair Lawn back to Cleveland every day.
Mm-hmm.
But then I hit Wisconsin. I'm like, oh, you people are fucking assholes.
Yep.
You're just fucking idiots.
Yep.
3 lanes of traffic, and they're all filled, and there's one fuck knob in all the left hand lane,
Yep.
and they're mindless. You can get past and go past them, and you're driving down the road, and they're still there. They got 7,000 cars behind them, passing them. Just stay in that fucking lane, fuckers. But again, you deal with that every day, right?
I do. Yes, I do.
All right, man. I just figured I'd end that one off on a kind of a fun note. But anything else, Mike? Anything else you want to talk about tonight?
No, not really.
I know. I was just fucking around. It's been our time, so I think we're good to go.
I think so. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be good to each other, be kind to each other, go out there and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. And now, from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time till the ends of the earth, always and eternally, fuck you. And now it's time. It's time for you to fuck right off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
I like the little addition. You keep fucking right off.
That's right.
Keep fucking right off. Oh, and real quickly here, and I almost forgot to mention it. So next week we have Breeze on.
That's right.
Take a minute once we say our goodbyes on here. The thing that it goes into, that little musical number, the ditty. Well, I shouldn't say Diddy anymore. He's a fucking pig. I'm sorry. The musical tune that it goes into after this. Breeze is the one. She's the one that put that together for us. I know we talked about it, before, but yeah, listen to it. It's something you can dance to.
That's right.
Kind of snappy beat.
The fuck off remix.
Yeah, which is still, I love it. I fucking love it. But yeah, so we'll have her on next week and kind of catch up with her and see what's up and, see what she's up to. A lot of good things out there. So, but yeah, other than that, fuck it. Yeah. I think we're done. So,
and right? Then your ass will be here next week.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna use your slow cooker again. Just to let you know.
All right, cool. Oh yeah. Well, remind me. Hell, I might as well do it on here. Yeah. So, you're coming in Saturday, correct?
Correct.
All right. I'm leading the hot dog meeting for Joe that night. It's a 6:30 meeting. So
Stella Maris one.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So you're gonna down there and play with hot dogs?
Yes, exactly. Mine and others.
All right. So 6:30. So I need to be there in time so I can go to the meeting.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Go hang out with some drunks and eat a hot dog.
Exactly.
We're not gonna play. Okay. What? You know what? Fuck it. I don't care. You people out there, you filthy minded fucking people, take it whatever way you want. It's called a hot dog meeting. So there. Fuck you.
That's right. And it is a men's meeting.
Exactly. All right, man. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.